Hi, this is Beelzebuth of Argentinian esoteric black metal band Walls Winter. You are listening to The Bloodshed with the Vampire on Metal Messiah Radio International.
Beelzebuth, thank you very much for taking time out for this interview. And I want to welcome you to the Metal Bloodshed with the Vampire on Metal Messiah Radio International.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to this interview.
Okay, this is your home. Yeah, so one question I like to start this interview with is how severe has the COVID hammer strike the Argentinian community and the metal scene in general?
Well, the scene in general was really crashed for this situation. For example, we were on lockdown all 2020. A lot of venues were closed, so now we don't have many options to make some gigs or concerts. Most of places that were like historic were closed, and now only left the big one. So if you are a small band, it's really hard first to get a date because it's full. There are like 10 places now in Buenos Aires or less that are able to do concerts and that. So all bands are like desperate to get one place to make a show. And of course, really expensive.
Okay, but tell me, we are approaching the last quarter of 2021. How are the situation now in Buenos Aires and in general, in Argentina, everywhere? Is it getting back to normal?
Yeah, slowly. Really slowly getting back to normal. So I think that most of it is because elections and some stuff, because in my country, the corruption and the president and that it's like shit. So elections coming, like it's slowly getting back to normal. And I think that later, after the elections will be again like 3 or 4 months ago. So false freedom, I think.
Okay, but tell me, how are the vaccination taking place over there?
It's kind of weird because there are a lot of people that are getting vaccinated and a lot of people that are not. Some people that can't get vaccine. So I think this depends the zones, the districts on the country about or the city. So I think it's not entirely equal to all the districts in the city. So I don't know for sure.
But at least you still don't have this situation where there has this restriction for those that has not been vaccinated, that they cannot attend or go to some places?
Not yet entirely. So there are some places that if you don't have the vaccines, you can't, but not all places.
Okay, I got to know you much better, Beelzebuth. At a very young age, you was part of black metal bands from Buenos Aires, Temple of Lizo. Please present yourself and what or who has inspired you so much into black metal?
I think I first listened to black metal like at the age of 15. I had a friend who lived in my house that he listened to black metal. When he left the place, he gave me a compilation on CD of black metal. So I was kind of curious, so I started listening and it was blown on my mind. All the classics, like first albums of Gorgoroth, Mayhem, Darkthrone, Dark Funeral. I was like, oh, what the fuck is that? And Point of No Return, of course.
Wow. Awesome. Okay, through Qayin's manifestation, we incarnate his words as herald of death. The cult is based in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and was formed in 2008. Has 5 devoted members who spread the words of no light. Being the only founding members, how was the band formed, and any special reason for choosing Qayin's manifestation as the main theme of the band?
The only original member is me. I started the band basically myself, but like a couple of months later, I wanted to start like a real band, not a one-man band. So in that time, I was playing in a grindcore band called Congenital Vomitosis. My bassist, aka Cabra, I told him, he agreed to join the band. So at first we were only 2 and started to compose and gathering members. And then I talked with an old-time friend that is Longinus. He joined. and we recorded the first demo. We played a couple of gigs, and we recorded one of them like 2011, if I'm not mistaken. I managed to convince another friend who stood on the drums like for 2 years. That was the very, very beginning.
Okay, but tell me, how is the current lineup now?
The current lineup is Orbas, is main or lead guitarist, and he makes the Gregorian chants, some choirs. Bolifar is the lead guitarist and the producer and recorder of the album and some other old stuff. He's doing the backing vocals and some Gregorian chants too. Asuran is the bassist, who is the bassist of Morpheus too, and I think another one. And Nephiros, that is the drummer of Inorganic. He only plays Inorganic now, but he used to play in other bands like Nocturnal Cry, Necroversion. He used to play in Necroversion with our other guitarist Balefar, who is currently singer-guitarist of that band. You asked me about Qayin manifestations, too. Here in Argentina is really, really common the cult of death. In part, it's something cultural. In some regions, for example, in Corrientes, it's one of the provinces in our country, and some other province, and some of cities outside Buenos Aires. Qayin is the herald of death and the first killer, so he became death. Our Argentinian cult of death and Qayin are related. It was not so difficult to tie some of both cults. So that is how I basically merged into.
Okay, the band's first demo in 2011 is called Spell of Necromancy, released in Argentina and United States by Nihilistic Winter Production in tape. The same year, released a Ceremony with Darkness that was on digital format. Later, a compilation released in Germany by Infernal Hymns record called Lycanthropus Legionis.
Lycanthropus Legionis.
Yeah, Legionis on tape. Yeah. In 2012, Waltz Winter, together with Thorn and Marquise from the Netherlands and Hambler from Argentina, did a split called Argentinian and Dutch Violation that was released on tape by Zwartgevecht of Records. Beelzebuth, who was responsible for this split album, and how was the collaboration been with the other bands?
Well, basically, we had the luck. All of our stuff were released by labels just asking permission to release our stuff. I received an email. It was from this label, and he wanted to make a split with some Dutch bands. Basically, he asked 2 new songs. Well, we recorded the songs, and that time we didn't have a drummer, so I had to program him drums for 2 tracks. We recorded and sent the stuff, and they released it and sent us a few copies as payment.
The band went on silent for a couple of years until 2018, reemerged stronger than ever with an EP, which was recorded at Waltz Cold Studios September 2017 and released in the United States by Humanity Black production called Necrosophic Illumination, and then re-added in tape in Sweden by Triumphum Cadaver and Argentina by Sons of Hell production. Please explain why the 6 years of hiatus, and why have you been doing since then?
Well, that's a tricky question. Basically, we were silent because we had a lot of troubles with band members. We started recording the album in 2012. That was the first attempt to record the album. So this album that is coming out, it was originally recorded at first in 2012. So there are very, very old songs.
So in other words, Beelzebuth, you was still busy. I mean, not that the band was put aside.
We were dealing with members and trying to record. Well, there was no success, mostly because band troubles with members, like a lack of will, some other stuff, problems, just problems and fights, and not being comfortable with members and stuff and that. And in 2014, the first of the now actual members joined the band was Neviros, the drummer, because we had a tour in the north of the country, in some province, and I needed a drummer ASAP. So I talked with him. He was a friend, and asked if he can just lend me a hand play drums on the tour. So he agreed, and now he's one of the actual members. And 3 years later, I asked not friend because he was like a fan of the band. So he went always to all of our shows and gigs. He was very supportive with us, and I had a good relation with him. He was with all of us, the actual now member of the band. So I asked him one time if he would like to play on the band. He at the first wasn't really sure, so I still get pushing. So he actually agreed, and now he's one of the most key pieces of the band and more compromises members of the band. And later in 2018, one of the last members was Valefarm, or Alejandro, who is the producer of the band. Actually, he made all the hard work on the mixing and mastering of the Necrosophic Illumination.
Beelzebuth, to go back to this Necrosophic Illumination,
Yeah.
how was this work on with Walls Cult Studio? Was this your first time working with them?
What's called Studio was at the first a studio I tried to create. So I bought some stuff and recorded here. I mean, all instruments besides drums.
That's your own studio.
Yeah. Of course, later I abandoned the project because it's too expensive. And of course, now we have our member who has a very professional, really cool studio. So it was no point to have two studios.
Since the studio was your own studio, how has
exactly.
the mixing mastering for Necrosophic Illumination?
Well, mixing and mastering was not at my home studio, but at the studio of Valefarm. He first did the first mixing and mastering, and a couple of months ago, he did a remaster of the album, and sounds a lot better, because that wasn't the same knowledge he had and same equipment he had back in 2018, so he made a really good job.
So it was recorded by Walls Cult Studio and then mixed and mastered by someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, another question. Why was the CP on CD only in the US, and while in Argentina it was released on tape?
Because the label who wanted to release it was a label who was pushing to release our stuff since 2011, I think. So I said yes, okay, you can release it. So he released the album, but was not only for USA, it was widely spread for all over the world. So you can still get the copies of the album, for example, in Japan. So he had a very good connections with it. We received some reviews from all over the world. So he managed to bring the EP to all the corners of Earth. So I think that was the best label on that moment. Here in Argentina, I think that there are not such labels that had the same reach. For example, I think releasing an album here is like being a limit for us. We will like to spread our music on all over the world and not only here in Argentina.
Okay, but to go back to my question, there was a tape in Argentina.
Yeah, for Son of Hell. They are some friends of us, so he wanted to release it on tape. We say, okay, sure, of course, why not? We release it alongside in Sweden with Triumphant Cadaver, who released it on tape too, and other regions of Europe.
Okay, a couple months later, in October the same year, the band re-recorded the first demo, Spell of Necromancy, as a celebration for the 10th anniversary of the band, and released in Russia by Kirla's Demo Record on CD and on tape version in Chile. So, any special reason that you decided to re-record it this first demo, Spell of Necromancy?
Yeah, first we started to work our album that same year, so just not to be silent, like from 2018 to now, we released the album. It was like a celebration of the band, like our first demo, 10 years anniversary, so we decided to re-record the album because the first demo is like hearing razors. So we wanted to give it a bit of sound quality to our demo. So a label in Chile proposed to us to make a deluxe edition on tape with a wooden case, some stuff, and we liked the idea, so we choose to re-record our first demo later on the label in Russia, as if he can release it on there on CD. So we say yes, okay, and that's all went on that time while we were preparing for the record of the album.
Okay, Beelzebuth, to continue. In the beginning of 2020, the band started the recording of their first full-length album, but stopped by the public known situation due to quarantine and many restrictions in the country, and continue in 2021, releasing their opus and first release at major scale called Qayin Coronatvs. The albums contain 13 tracks composed in 2011 and 2012, as you just said, that finally saw the light decades later. Tell us why the incarnation of songs that has been put to rest into the deepest obscurity for so long.
Like I said before, the struggling with band members was the main reason here that this album delayed a lot. I think at the beginning it was because I was like a dictator on the band, so members weren't so comfortable with that. For example, I don't like it, something, I don't like it, and I don't like it. Get over with it. So I didn't give so much choices.
Now you are more nowadays.
Yeah, here's democracy now because I got tired.
Okay, if I'm not wrong, the first sign of this incarnation has been felt on September 24th when the lyric video for the song Gnosis of No Light has been premiered. Please tell us more about this song. Track number 5, chosen as the first promotional single of the band, debuts a full-length studio album.
I think that was one of the last songs I composed, 2012. We really like it, how it sounds. At the beginning, the drummer, I think that the other guitarist, Maleficarvm, weren't too much into the song at first, but then we record the song and they loved it. So that's a really cool song. So we can do the premiere with this song. Of course, we think and we know that it's not the best song of the album, so we didn't want to use our weapons for saying very, very good song, but not the best song.
Okay, I must say that when I first heard this song, I mean, it really got my attention right away. A very great song from start to finish. Yeah, by the way, I knew the band from before.
Oh, cool.
From a spell of necromancy, to say some distance horizon of the spotless mind.
Yeah.
Spell of necromancy. Those music that you guys has been spreading around, I really like so much. But this particular new song really did an impact on me. So I said, no, it's time to get.
Yeah, you were used to a good quality on sound, I think. Yeah.
No.
Like a raw black metal band, and now it's like a studio black metal band. It's like giant jump. Yeah.
Believe me, not to take any credit of Necrosophic Illumination and Spell of Necromancy. They are very great EPs. I like them, but this new studio album is like you're going like a step way up.
Yeah, that's what we wanted to do with the album also. So the two past releases wasn't so much quality on the sound and stuff, but here with all new equipment, new knowledge was like another thing. And of course, it was our first album. We wanted to make it special
Okay, to continue, manifestation of all aspects of Qayin, Lord of the Dead, released on the 30th anniversary of the band's Ave Qayin Rex Mortis 13. Qayin Coronatvs, released October 7, 2021. The album has been released independently. Are you in search for a record label now?
Yes and no. We received some cool proposals from labels. I'm able to reveal we didn't sign the contract yet, so we are in talk. Northern Silence, who was the label to release Los Males del Mundo.
Yeah.
They wanted to release our album. They contact Black Metal Promotion channel and ask about our address and contact info. So the guy in Black Metal Promotion talked on Facebook to me. So it said that the label wanted to reach to us and make a proposal. So we exchanged a couple of emails and they sent us a draft contract to read and see what they are proposing. So maybe I think we will pick them, of course. But very interesting contract. So maybe we will release the album with them.
Okay, very great to hear. 13 tracks selected for this release means the 13th anniversary of the band foundation.
Yeah, and 13 is the number of death.
Okay.
It's all connected. So I think this situation was like destiny. If the album was released last year, it will be 12 years. But all of this stuff happened, and now the album is released in a few more days, and is in November. The band will become 13 years. So I think it's destiny.
Yep. The band had a special collaboration on this release with Sarkirsta frontman Revenant. Please explain.
Yeah, at first we had a collaboration from Asgard from Drawing in the Light, but he was really busy, so didn't have enough time to record the voices of the track. So later, Revenant talked to me on Facebook and said that he knows our band from a long time ago, and if he can do a collaboration with us in some way. So I told him that we are recording the album. So he was, okay, great. Then I want to do something, please. And I said, okay, of course. You are a great singer. And I love all of your bands, like Sarkristas, Lagmark, Sarastus, Order of Noferat. Really cool band. So I say, of course, yes, please. They record the track and I was, okay. It was like hearing a Sarkrista song. So we are like very happy with the sound and how all went with this track in particular. And of course, we are very happy to have his collaboration. And of course, we are very happy that he knows our band and he likes it so much that he wanted to join.
Okay, I mean, it seems like you Argentinians have a great communication with the Germans, like Los Males, with Nikita Kampart of Der Weg einer Freiheit. By the way, talking about Sarkrista, they have a new album out. For those that don't know, check it out. The Sworn of Profound Heresy, released last March 2021. Yeah. Okay, a very great album. I play many of these songs on my show, so check it out. Great Sarkrista album. Yeah. Okay, to continue with this last part of the interview, going to what the recording is about, mixing, mastering. Alejandro Russo recording, mixing, mastering, and the lyric, and Do the Dead was responsible for the lyric video for Gnosis of the No Light. Beelzebuth. Was this your first experience with Alejandro Russo? And how was the end result of this work for this new release been?
Yeah, Alejandro Russo is Balefar on our band. So we were working with him since Necrosophic Illumination. He first at the beginning started work only. It's like a friend of our band. We always say that, hey, Ale, you are like the fifth wolf on our band. And later we say, hey, why not? Why not making official? So, hey, do you want to join? Okay. So, and now he's officially the fifth wolf on the band. So.
Okay, he's the same guy you were saying that has a professional studio.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see he was the same guy who did the mixing and mastering on Necrosophic Illumination and the recordings and mixing and mastering on Spell of Necromancy. And now you can see he is the same recording, mixing and mastering on the album, and you can see the difference on quality and sound and work put on the album.
Okay, but saying so, when doing the recording before. You are also there, I mean, as doing part as the producer too?
Yeah, he was like a producer for us. Like he stood the role of the dictator on the recordings. He was like, no, again.
It's so difficult for he to do both jobs. I mean, be the producer, sound engineer.
Yeah, all of the work by himself. He's a beast. And of course, he did 3 videos. He did the Gnosis of No Light video. He did the video that will release in the Black Metal Promotion main channel in a couple of days. That is a video. And the video that we will upload on our channel that will be different from the one we upload on the Black Metal Promotion channel.
Let's like I always say, let's rewind this like a tape. Let's rewind this conversation a little bit more. You just said that there will be a video coming up. Please repeat this.
Not like official video. Like we record some stuff, and the video of the whole album that will premiere on Black Metal Promotion channel will not be just the cover of the album. It will be an actual video from an hour long while we can hear the album.
Okay, a film video. But tell me, before the album comes out on October 7th, will there a new video besides the one you did for track number 5, Gnosis of No Light coming out?
No teaser, so just days to go and you will listen to or watch
the whole album.
Yeah.
Yes, as I was saying before we leave, while Alejandro Russo was doing the recording, mixing, or he was most in charge of doing the mixing and the mastering, you was there as the main guy. Tell him what do you want regarding the guitars, the bass, regarding yourself, the vocals. How did it go?
Of course, as I said before, we are like a democracy here on the band. So we all had to agree with all the stuff like sound of the guitars, effects, sounds, the drums and the bass, vocals, how much reverb, how much everything. So we were like in talks continuously. We went several times to his place to work on mixing until we were satisfied. We didn't stop. So we were so satisfied, we released this track and then put the release date. So the day before the video was uploaded, we were still working on the album.
Oh, okay. But tell me, astonished cover artwork done by talented artist Van Artworks and Painting. Now, how was this album being created? And are you happy with the outcome?
It was like a concept I had since 2012.
But before you continue, Beelzebuth, this cover artwork has been created from scratches, from zero. It's not something that you find already half made. You adjust it to the band?
It was like an idea I had all these years. I told him, okay, I want this, and this. And he sends me a sketch and I was like, no, okay, no, I like this and this, I don't like this, and remove this and add this, until he sent us the final sketch and I was like, okay, let's do it. And he did it and he sent us that artwork. So it was original idea that I was carrying for all of these years.
I'm seeing the artwork now. Very beautiful artwork, I must say. But could you describe it a little bit?
Yeah, basically the album is Qayin killing evil and being crowned. That's why he is with the crown and killing his half brother Abel, and with the serpent tangle him, that is Samael. So in the cover you can see Qayin slaying Abel with Samael and the roses that are being nourished with the blood of Abel, and in the back the inverted triangle or logo, of course.
Okay, very, very, very great. Yeah, the band's brand new offering, Qayin Coronatvs, which was released on October 7, 2021, independently, where Wolves Winter will come to work and worship under the name of that. Beelzebuth, tell us, what will the band be doing in support of this brand new album, this 2021, and for 2022, what shows and tours is about?
Yeah, well, we were asked to make next year, maybe at the end of the year, a tour on Europe. So maybe we will be visiting Switzerland, Germany, and a few other countries. So that is not certain yet. We are in talk with them. We received an offer from a producer from Switzerland. We are in talk with managing to make the tour at the end of 2022 or first half of 2023. And while we reach the end of the year, we will try our best to make an album presentation in our country. And if we can't, because as I told you before, it's really, really hard to find a spot to make a show, a gig, a concert or something, we'll make it next year. And the next year we will be working maybe and make a video clip of the album that was supposed to release this year, but all stuff went really bad here in Argentina. So next year we will try our best to make a cool video clip, the album, while we will still working on next releases, because there are several songs that were not recorded for the album that are being left out of the album because the album will be too fucking long. So we left like 4 or 5 songs. So we have a sketch to how to start working on our next release.
Okay, for all fans out there, what are there available in merchandises?
Well, if we extract the contract with this label, it will be patches, shirts, hoodies, caps, everything. And of course, if all sales go well, we'll be releasing an LP on vinyl. So that will be, I think, this coming months will be a lot of merch and stuff from our band.
But at this moment, there are no merchandises available. I mean, at least t-shirts.
No, all sold out. I think we are very lucky with that, because every time we make shirts, they sold fast. For example, in 2019, when we shared stage with Horna, I seen a lot of Wolves winter t-shirts and even hoodies that we ever didn't have. So, and I was like, hey, that shirt or that hoodie, we never made those. So I was like, wow. Of course, we don't care. So it's like, okay, you support our band. Maybe you couldn't find your size, or maybe it was out of stock. So, okay, you can do it yourself. There's no problem. So we seen a lot of our band merch on the public. So it was really cool.
Yeah, if you see merch that you don't even recognize or you don't never have allowed to print, those are pirates.
Yeah, of course, pirates. Of course, but okay, well, we are a small band, so it's more than a privilege, an honor that someone wants to make a pirate band t-shirt, a band that will be our first album 13 years later than the creation of the band. So it's like, okay, you really support our band and you have faith on us. So, okay, it's not like an offensive stuff for the moment. I mean, maybe in 5 years or something, when we have a couple more albums or we have a label that do all the merch, will be like another thing. Now we all pay from our pockets to make all the band merch. So, okay, maybe sometimes we don't have enough money to make merch or something. So it's okay if people make those for themselves.
So any promotions are welcome.
Yeah, of course. There is no bad promotion.
Okay, Beelzebuth, I will hand you over the microphone of Man Messiah Radio International for you to thank whomever you want to thank.
Well, thank you to DJ Vampire and Metal Messiah Radio International and all people who was listening our interview. So thank you all for your support. Of course, you can expect more stuff coming from us in the near future. Thank you, of course, to our friend Alejandro Russo, to Van from Van Artworks, and of course to Revenant from Sarkrista, and all people who support us unconditionally.
Okay, once again, Beelzebuth, I want to thank you very, very much for this interview. It's been a very great pleasure talking to you. Yep.
Thank you.
And like always, metal on. Bye-bye.
Same to you. It's like a pleasure. Bye-bye and stay metal.